The world of projects, programs, portfolios, and even agile is changing. But there's more to the world of work, isn't there, Roy, than just typecasting
Absolutely.
everything as a project or program?
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it, Phil, there's some comfort in that safety of the structure and the annual planning cycles and the rhythm-ish of a traditional PMO style project management methodology. But the reality is human beings don't work that way. That's how we structure an organization so we can feel like we're in control. But are we ever really in control, Phil? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really fully felt in control. It's kind of manage chaos is really the way work gets done, right?
Absolutely. And we're never really in control. And Roy, I think that's part of the reason why people say Agile is dead, Agile has been buried, but that's not really the case, right? Agile is, what should we say, tired? Is that a good word?
It is definitely tired. It's definitely tired. And I'm sure people have heard that. It's like, that agile thing, you know? And they're not wrong. They're not absolutely not wrong. Agile is tired, and it's time to look at maybe going back to the roots, going back to
Mm,
what Agile's all about, the real rebellion that Agile started, the conversations, talking with people, building relationships. Isn't that how we get work done? That seems better to me.
absolutely, Roy. And part of the problem is people looking at velocity charts and being so obsessed and cracking the whip, subliminally over the head of the team,
Mhm.
whereas what they should be looking at is value over velocity, chasing predictability and calling it progress. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we can't really say Agile failed us, can we? We just
No,
forgot. We
absolutely.
forgot the basics.
Agile has lots of value. It's got some great patterns that we want to continue to use. So it's not we don't want to get rid of it, but we do need to get maybe back to the roots, let it transform into what it was always really meant to be, and put the right patterns around it so that larger organizations get the value out of it that they're really looking for. And you're right. I mean, you think about it is we have all of these ceremonies. We have ceremonies and these events. It's like, and it's like, did you update your Jira? It's like make sure that we've got these required fields in place. It's tool worship. And that's not what it was supposed to be all about. It was supposed to be, relationships with people, building better stuff
Absolutely.
because we talk.
I like that word relationships, Roy, because next year, 2026, you and I have put together a very robust program to introduce people to what we call the new world of business. It's a new world of thinking that is very product oriented because part of the problem in the world of project portfolio management is people look at a trajectory and they say, oh, that little blip on the radar, that's my project, it's done. Then they throw the rest over the wall to the poor
Yeah.
operations team or whoever, whereas the picture needs to be broader and bigger, looking at an entire product life. Because when you
Mhm.
think about what sustains the firm, it's not the project. It's really the strategic ideas permeating down into initiatives, some of which could be products, and those products helping the firm gain whatever objectives they were looking to gain in the very first place, isn't it?
Exactly. When you think about it, what do you really get out of a project? It's typically an enhancement to an existing product, a very short moment in time. Even if it's a couple of years, it's still a short moment in time in the overall life cycle of a product. So which makes more sense? Just focus all of your energies on this very short life cycle or focusing on the product strategy, the long-term view. How are customers receiving this? Are you getting the adoption rates? Is the market accepting it? Are you generating the right level of revenue or whatever else you would measure success on your products? Why aren't we at all levels measuring success of our products rather than just the success of our projects? Right. Now, the challenge here, fellas, doing this is completely different. It is a completely different mindset. So if you go in with traditional thinking and try to start thinking product focused, you're going to be
Mm.
challenged. You need to think different ways, right, Phil?
Absolutely. And Roy, part of what we're doing, we're showing people this publication from PMI. This is where a lot of the discussion is going to begin because a lot of people are just, getting to the world of PMP and they're like, what next? And they
Mhm.
think program management, but this evades them because of cost. It's so far out there and they're
Yeah.
not able to even get qualified for it. But you don't need some big old pre-qualification process to begin thinking about program mindedness, but not in the way we think about it in the traditional world. when we think about programs, Roy, there are other ways we can think about these collections of initiatives. So what would that be?
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be, a collection of projects or I mean, and it can
Could
include
be.
projects. I'm not saying it
Right.
shouldn't, but what we really want to think about is really a program is just an organization of continuous delivery of value, right? It's about the deliverables. It's about the value that's being added to your products, to your consumers, your customers. That's the way you want to look at programs, which is again a different mindset. It's about are we investing in the right stuff and are we getting the right return for that investment? And that is in the value that we're producing.
Absolutely. So in January, what we're going to be showing you is this world of program management. It's great. We talk about governance. We
Mhm.
talk about it in a different light. We talk about alignment, strategic alignment. We talk
Mhm.
about it in a different light. So, Roy, when we talk about alignment, what should we be thinking about from a more strategic perspective and a more product perspective?
Yeah, typically in a traditional organization, you're thinking alignment toward your portfolio, which is a collection of programs and projects, right? So, what alignment do you really have? And what we're talking about in this is alignment to your organizational strategy. What are those strategic themes, the big bets, the big things that we want to go after? Are we aligned? All, or at least most of the work that we do should in some way be aligned to helping us achieve those big bets. Think about most
Mm,
organizations that we've worked with, Phil, and there's a lot of them.
a lot
How
of
many
them.
times you see they define their strategy at the top, they define their projects down at the bottom, and there's no connection between the two. Nothing.
Big gap.
Big, big gaps. It happens all the time. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Right?
Big problem. And honestly, Roy, to talk about the value people are going to get from this course, first of all, they're going to understand PMI's program management framework because there's a great framework. I call it the Get a Big Soda Pop Cola. It's funny, but it's governance, alignment, it's benefits, it's stakeholders, and it's collaboration. And all of these are good things. But a lot of the good things gets lost in just looking at the lower level stuff without being more strategic, without being
Yep.
more deliberate, like you said, the big bets kind of stuff.
Yep.
So Roy and I were going to be taking you through this curriculum that will not only get you a bit into the world of this, we will also be dealing with how to be a real success. This is from John Maxwell. So this is
Mm.
going to bolt on relationships, equipping your team, attitudes, having a positive mental attitude, because a lot of what Roy and I will train you on is going to be patterns and mindsets. So there's going to be attitude, and the L is, of course, for the almighty leadership. Because Roy, isn't leadership like everything regarding your
It
people
is.
and their success or failure?
Phil, I have been on so many transformations at this point that I've lost count. And I can tell you this with absolute certainty. When we see failures in transformations, it's because of a failure of leadership every
Mm,
single time. So let's avoid those. Let's become great leaders so that we can transform properly, right? And I'm not saying our leaders are necessarily bad. They're good. They're generally good people, right? Just they just don't know necessarily how to transform.
yeah, they
Become that
don't.
person that can lead a transformation. And you're going to be a lot more successful.
Absolutely. And Roy has led so many transformations. Roy, what percentage of these transformations actually, talk about the agile transformations, what percentage of them succeed or fail?
Well, the numbers are actually horrific. There was a McKinsey study that came out and claims that 70% of agile transformations fail, or at least fail to live up to expectations. So they did put a little
Mm.
qualifier in it. But you think about it, why is that? Why
Mm,
does so many fail? And the reality is they're installing frameworks, they're installing approaches. They're not leading through the transformation. They leave the humans behind. They leave the culture behind and the behaviors. And if you don't bring the people along with you, which requires real leadership,
absolutely.
then you're going to have another failed transformation.
Mm. My friends, look, if you are looking to get to that next level, because lots of you are PMPs or PGMPs or RMPs or SPs, you absolutely need to be in this program with us. It's going to run Q1 and part of Q2. We're also going to be teaching you. Some of you are still scared of Agile. Don't be afraid. Roy and I wrote this book called Agile Principle Run and Cut, which you will also get. There's a ton of workshop exercises that you will be able to work on with like-minded people. We have our Project Leadership Institute people that are coming for this, and lots of them PMPs, just like you, or certified Scrum Masters or PSMs, whatever you might be. But even if you don't have any of these, Right, Roy? We're not looking for people to be like mega qualified to come in. We just need a willingness to learn, isn't it?
Open mind, be innovative, be creative, recognize your own challenges, the things that you've seen go wrong, bring it to the sessions. Let's talk about them, right? As long as you have that, we can help you be successful.
Absolutely. So we'll see you. These happen first and last week of the month. We make sure that you have enough time to work on the exercises. It's very hands-on, it's very pragmatic, and there's never a dull moment in our classes, is there, Roy?
That's always fun, Phil.
Absolutely. We'll see you in January 2026. Bye for now.